Today I'm going to show you guys how to create a really pretty shell sort of looking design on your client's nail, and then we're going to be using the Akzentz 3D gel art powder to do that with. So what I'm going to be using here today is the Options Gel Art White. We're going to be using our 3D gel powder, and you're going to need a little container of your prep and wipe solution or your cleansing solution, whichever you happen to use. So let's go ahead and mix our powder up. I do have a separate video strictly for mixing, so if you guys are a little bit confused on how to mix your gel art powder, definitely go watch the video. I'm not going to go into great detail today on this one about mixing, but I will definitely show you how to do it properly. So when you're mixing your powder, a good ratio is about 2 to 1 for your gel to powder. And we're just going to slowly press our powder into our gel so it creates a paste. And when you're finished, your consistency should be like a thick toothpaste or a spackle, almost something like that. But again, if you guys are new to mixing this product, definitely go check out my video on tips for mixing your powder with your gels. We're almost there to what we need it to be. Pretty close. Yep, that's good. When you're done mixing your gel, you'll know that it's ready. It'll keep its shape wherever you leave it. Your gel will have a matte sort of finish to it, and when you touch it, it will not be sticky. It'll be dry to the touch, which is perfect because then we can move it around in whatever placement we need it to, and it'll stay exactly where we need it. Okay. So I always make sure that my brush is clean before I start and it's free of anything. And I'm just going to be using a tip today. And we always need our container of powder as well, so that doesn't go anywhere too. Don't put that away. So I'm going to create sort of just basically some raised lines on the nail. We're going to make a bigger one and then a couple smaller ones, and then we'll probably just sneak a little smaller one off on the side too. Now the nice thing is about working with the gel art powder, it's not going to set up on us. So we have lots of working time. You can fiddle around a little bit and play around and get the exact shape that you want. So I'm just going to start here in the middle. And you can see this moves around. We can do whatever we need to do with it. And the 3D gel art powder is great when you're mixing your gel together with this because you have lots of working time. If you're new to the world of 3D stuff, acrylic can be a little bit intimidating because you don't have a lot of working time all the time, depending what system you're using. So this will give you lots of working time and a chance to play around and perfect whatever shape you're working with. And always make sure to keep your brush clean. If you don't, it does get gooped up with product quite quickly, and then you have a harder time working with it. And always check your work from the side too. When you're doing a design like this, just check your angles, make sure everything is nice and even. Okay, so in between each line that I'm doing, I am going to freeze cure this just for a couple seconds. The gel does have a tendency to sort of start to move around a little bit if you don't freeze cure it. So you want to make sure that your design is going to stay in place. So I'm just going to give this about 2 seconds. I'm using my LED light today. If you're using a UV lamp, you want to leave it in for about 5 to 10 seconds. If you are using your LED light, about a 2-second freeze cure is all you really need to do. I'm just going to add a little bit more height right in here. And the nice thing is, because we are working with gel, you can just smooth this right out. And I'm just using a really light touch to move my gel as well. I'm not using anything too hard. Okay, so we're going to do freeze cure on this just for a couple seconds before we move on to the next one. And this part does tend to get a little bit boring as you're watching. So what I'm going to do is just speed up the video a little bit and you can get an idea of how we're going to place our design, and you won't have to sit here and watch me do this for another 20 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up and you can watch in quicker process how this all takes place. Okay, so here is how our nail looks at this stage right now. As you can see by the video that we've done, I've just created these nice little swoops with my mixed gel and gel art powder, and it kind of does look like a shell, but it's not quite done yet. We need to go over this with our gel art white as well, and I'm going to cover everything over with a thin coat of white just to fill in the gaps in between, and it just sort of gives it a really neat finish effect. It's nice and smooth. Right now it's a little bit bumpy, but we want to go over with our white again and just fill it all in. And make sure when you're doing this on your client that you get all the spaces that are left available on the nail, especially down by the cuticle. Make sure that you're covering the free edge properly and everything is white or whatever color you happen to be using. You don't want to have any gaps showing. And you don't want your gel sort of puddling up or pooling in between your raised lines either. So I like to take my brush and just kind of wipe them through and make sure that there's not like a big glob of gel sitting in there, because that is not going to look good for our finished product. And check the ends of your nail too. Make sure that you have these little guys covered. Cool. So when you're happy with how your finished nail looks, full cure, 30 seconds in your LED or 2 minutes in your UV. And we're going to finish this with a coat of our Shine On. You can use whichever gloss top you like to use. I like Shine On because it is amazing and awesome and shiny. It's my favorite, in case I haven't talked about it quite enough yet on these videos. You can do this with a matte finish as well, but because of the look this is, I really like doing these shiny. Okay, so again, 30 seconds or 2 minutes. Okay, so now that your nail is out of the light, I'm just going to take my file and touch these up a little bit on the corners here. I always like to, when I'm doing a nail like this especially, I always like to make sure that all my little edges are smooth. So regardless if this is on a tip or a client, whoever you have me working on, just check your edges, if it's by the cuticle, your free edge, whatever, and take a look at this line here on the side. Make sure nothing's sticking out or poking out, because the client will pick at that as well. So I just made a little set of nails here for you so you can see how you can add a design like this into something. And it's very pretty, it's very soft. You can definitely do whatever you want to do with this. Add in some bling, add in some crazy colors, do whatever you want. But this is a really neat design. It's fun for summer and it's really cool. Your clients will absolutely love it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.